SMEs. But the other thing is that the DFIs themselves and some foundations and other people that are looking at Nigeria, not just the investors. I'm now talking about people that want to spend their own money in assisting some aspects of the level of abject poverty that we have in some of our communities. They look at the posture of the government towards its indigent citizens, citizens that are down and out. And that also would enable those DFIs as well as other both local and international foundations to come around and assist in creating this sort of what I call economic ecosystems that would gradually be able to grow. It's a tough one. A budget cannot address that. But if you look at the combination of the transportation budget, capital spending, and the energy or the power and works ministry, we're talking, I think it's somewhere around 800 billion. That's 0.8 trillion. Okay. That's a huge chunk of capital allocation going to those two, or if you want, those four critical sectors of the economy, which is power, works, housing, and transport.
We're winding down now and we have to go. But let me ask you this, Mr. Fagunro, as we go. But I'll read this, then you weigh in on it. Oluwasegun says, to improve on our economy, the only thing we must ensure is power, electricity to people, and every sector will grow. He now says, note, God didn't do anything in darkness at creation. He commanded there should be light, and everything fell in place. So,
let me tell you something. It's good that we're discussing it, but most of the things the governors, the states are doing, are not sustainable. Even if you have electricity at night and you power them with a generator and you're buying diesel, for how long will you do that? That's another wastage. But if you have this mixed energy we're talking about, I appreciate the fact that in Lagos we're enjoying fantastic drives, driving experience at night. But thank God that we have the money in Lagos State to do that. But other states might not be able to do the same thing we're doing in Lagos State. That's good. But then another thing you're talking about, startup. Do you see anything in the budget that will encourage startup? No. You see, you have the Ministry of Science and Technology. Mm-hmm. What are they doing? You have the Ministry of Environment in Lagos State when Fashola started planting these flowers all around the place, beautifying the place. You don't have all those things. And at the same time, you have to begin to look at... Lagos is just a standard, it's what you can use as a standard, as a fundamental thing for other states to follow. But then you are now looking at the foundation of Lagos State. They have their own developmental plan for 25 years, and I'll be strict on it, following the governor after governor following that. So if you have this economic growth plan that we're looking at, is a follow-up. It shouldn't be just something that, okay, Buhari administration will do, another administration is coming in, whoever, we don't know how to follow up. And the good thing about Lagos is because there's been a regular follow-up to that. And I want to tell you, most Nigerian youths, they are not happy with what is going on right now in this country because they are left out of the whole thing. I mean, look at the sport. Even the area of sports, most of the people who are going around, they spend their money going to doing all these things, paying their hotels, and we're not looking into that area. So that is where we have restiveness. I want to tell you that if you begin to improve on the youth's development, the economy will grow. They are spending, but right now, if there's a high inflation, people will not spend, and we have this inflation going on in this country.
I had to put this in all of these things. Where is the local government in all of this, in this plan and in the budget?
The local government is in a perplexed situation because they don't control their own budget. The money coming from the central level is not coming directly to them. It's being controlled by the state, and the state gives them certain what they think they need, which sometimes is peanuts.
But they will tell you that's not what the Constitution says.
Yes, but it's what the Constitution says, another thing what the people do. So now we have to begin to, how many times they've been fighting that they want to have their own, they want to be dependent on their own, they want to collect, but nobody allows them. And don't forget, some of these local government and LCDA, they are not recognized in the Constitution as well. So there's a problem in there. So you begin to see there's a bigger problem we're facing. The budget, it might be good as it might be, and then we have to look at it. The senators as well, they have to be prepared. They have to be prepared to sacrifice. People are not seeing anything from them that they've sacrificed, or they are ready to sacrifice. So if they are not ready to sacrifice, and they see that, oh, the Senate, they have increased their budget again, for what? And the only thing a friend was telling me is that they buy agbada every day, and before you look at it, most of them will have 300 agbadas and so they have to maintain that. So it's very expensive to maintain this thing. So we have to begin to look at it economically and socially as well. Social aspect of it, the youths are restive because we are not taking care of them. We're not taking care of them. Cost of laptop is so expensive. So, and we have manufacturers in this country. We are not encouraging the manufacturer. Just even bring the CKD to this country and couple it together. Bring the cost of laptop. Bring it down to the level whereby every secondary school boys and girls can pick up this thing and work with it. We are not developing. And now you see everybody running around as expert because we have this WannaCry hacking going on. You see, the hackers are sitting down there and they're making money through bitcoins. What are we going to develop from this place? Yaba is a good place that we have seen. And the governor of Lagos State has gone there and said, look, I'm going to provide you electricity so that you can work well. What are we doing? We keep budgeting money for technology. What have we been able to do? We must ask that question. And I hope the youths will begin to be very flexible. When you see, that is the biggest spender. If you look at it, they spend. And they are not spending because there's no income coming into them. And if you have startup and you are listing them on the stock exchange as well, it will encourage. I mean, look at all these other places now. Jumia is not being funded wholly from Nigeria. All these other people, they're big people are bringing money to fund some of this. And e-commerce business, it's not a business you can make profit. I bet those guys are not making profit for now. So you have to be patient. And most Nigerian investors, they want to invest their money and get the profit immediately or maybe in another 1 or 2 months. So the system has to.
It's not their fault. The bank wants its money back in 3 months.
Yeah, the banking, but now the good thing the government has done, if you look at it, I must come to that, is because now the SMEs, they have a window. I don't know how small, how big it is, but they have a window to, purchase their foreign exchange, and that has been helping. And that is another area whereby the fiscal policy and the monetary policy of the government has to work together so that the people have to enjoy
this. Okay, we got to go now, so I got to take your last word. Mr. Kyari, your last word on this, please.
I think the encouraging thing in what is happening in Nigeria today is the realization the private sector could play a role. And even the financing of some of these deficits, it's not just going in and getting it through the treasury bills, and of course the capital market exists. But I think the ecosystem, the enabling environment, those are the key things that would bring in confidence from both domestic and foreign investors. And I believe that we are beginning that march. I wish that next year's budget planning would commence as early as possible, and people would be referring to the ERGP while they are planning their budget. The details of those would result in something that is going to set us on the rocket stage of having stellar growth for our economy.
Thank you very much. Mr. Joe-Fagunro.
The ecosystem is not something to write home about. If you look at it, you see, we most of the places, people just want to build houses. We are not doing anything. You see a lot of erosion happening. And if it happens, the NEMA goes there, donates blankets and bed sheets, and after that, the erosion will come annually. And most state government, they've taken loans, and they're not doing anything about this ecosystem. Like he said, Kyari said that, look, this ecosystem, we have to take it seriously in this country. And now, if we don't do it now, there is every potential, we have all signs leading to catastrophe in the nearest future. Okay. I hope it will come to that level.
Okay, thank you very much. We have been chatting with the chairman of the NESG, the Economic Summit Group, Mr. Bukar Kyari, who spoke to us via Skype, and an economist, Mr. Joe-Fagunro, who was with us in the studio. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for coming to look at the economic growth plan with us vis-a-vis the 2017 budget. Thank you very much. Sunrise will be right back with another interesting conversation in just a moment. Stay with us.